Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Design Minute. And in this Design Minute, we are continuing a discussion about color. So if you missed the last Design Minute, go ahead and watch that first and then jump back to this one, because the last Design Minute, I was answering the question, is gray trending out? And the answer to that question was yes. The gray color in design has had a great run of it. It has been very popular for at least 15 years, but it is starting to trend out. So if that is the case, then what color is coming in behind gray to pick up where gray is leaving off? So that's what I'm going to share with you in today's Design Minute, is what is the new color going to be now that our beloved gray is leaving the building. And maybe not completely, but as far as just being considered the go-to backdrop for a design, it really is just trending out on that level. So let's jump in to talking about what is this new color that is coming on the scene that you can put now into your design toolbox as you maybe place gray aside. Okay, so drum roll please. The color that is trending in behind gray is, it may surprise you, it's actually beige. So maybe you're thinking, wow, that sounds kind of boring. But there are so many reasons that beige is coming in. And there's a lot of different shades of beige, just like there's a lot of different shades of gray. And so hang with me till the end, because I'm actually going to give you some actual color names that you can take with you, write them down, and use them in your future designs, or at least try them out instead of just starting from scratch trying to figure out what beige color are the best colors to use. So I'm going to give you a handful of those so that you will have, at least I'll help you narrow your options on where to go from here now that gray is sort of moving out of the backdrop space. Okay, so here are some reasons that beige is moving in. Beige is really connected to natural elements. And if you look outside right now, you're just going to find a lot of tones of beige. And just some examples would be sandy beaches, sun-kissed deserts, and just warm, earthy tones. So you see the beige all around outdoors. And so that is one of the reasons that gray is moving into this neutral backdrop space, is because it really just is a great neutral backdrop. And second, beige is really warm and cozy. This is a little bit in contrast to the cool and often stark appearance of gray. So beige is bringing in that sense of warmth, sense of comfort to spaces, and its soft undertones just create warm, cozy vibes. And isn't that what we want in our homes? We all live busy lives. Some of our lives are chaotic, stressful at times, high anxiety. And so when we come into our space, we really want our backdrop to just wrap its arms around us and just feel warm and cozy. And that's what beige will do for us in our space. It just gives us a sense of relaxation and serenity. And like, who doesn't want that? I do. All right, the third thing is beige is very versatile. Now, where gray tended to pull in a lot of blue, undertones, if we're talking about, traditional gray, like we think about gray, there was a lot of blue in that. And although we used it as a neutral color, is it really neutral? Beige is a little more neutral than gray because it really just goes with a lot of different hues So if you are designing your own space, or even if you are flipping a home and designing it for someone else, you are just really creating that very neutral backdrop to where you or a buyer, potential buyer, can come in and just see the potential of what they can bring to the space in their decor and their favorite colors and their design, because you really have given them a really great place to start, where most colors are going to play well with beige. And lastly, beige really promotes serenity and wellness. And that's really popular right now because of all the reasons I just said a minute ago. We're stressed, we have high anxiety, we're just a chaotic society, and we want our home really to be our haven. And so it really just creates a more balanced and peaceful environment, and that's what we want, right? So we can just move into that backdrop with all the things that we love, and they will likely coordinate pretty well with that. So let's talk about beige. What color is really beige? Because there are just so many different tones and hues and all that stuff of the color wheel. So I actually have my Sherwin-Williams, because that's my favorite color catalog. I actually have this laying here in my lap, and I am going to just give you some paint colors that I would just suggest that you write down, and you can try some of these beiges. And I'm going to give you some that are a little more darker beiges. I personally like the lighter tone neutrals, so I'm going to give you those as well. And then I'm going to share with you my very favorite neutral paint color that I have been using probably for about 4 months now. And every time I have suggested it in a space, it has worked beautifully, and I love it. It is one of the lighter tones. Okay, so Sherwin-Williams actually does have some top beige paint colors. And those are going to be realistic beige, diverse beige, touch of sand, and natural linen. Now, natural linen is going to be the lightest of those I mentioned. So touch of sand has a little more tan, and then the diverse beige is a little darker. So in some of these, you actually, if you actually have a fan deck, color deck for Sherwin-Williams, if you just start at like page 210 and you go back to 199, those are kind of going to be the beige family. Now, some of them I don't particularly love. A lot of them have yellow in them, and I don't really recommend that for a backdrop. Because I feel like that's dated, but you can kind of look through those and see what you can come up with and see what you like there. But then there's Angora, Perfect Greige, and then Grecian Ivory is really pretty. It's a lighter shade. So those are the ones that Sherwin-Williams suggests are the best beige paints. Okay, now if you are like me, and let me just hold these up so you can just see kind of what those color families look like that I just talked about, because these are a little darker than my taste really cares for. But see those right there? Those are beige. Okay, but let me move a little bit towards this the 255 through 261 range. You can barely see those in the picture, but those are just much lighter, much more neutral. Actually, I don't know if you can see on my wall, I have Comet Dust, which has just a little tinge of gray in it, but it would look white. Probably would look really, really white if I didn't have Stark White trim, but I love that color because it's just a very soft backdrop. It's very natural. So there are some other colors here, like Egret White, Eater White, let's see, Zurich White. Now, I know I'm saying white, but these aren't white, but they are definitely lighter than the beiges that I just named off. But I would still consider these very natural, neutral, beigey colors. So that would be something to look at. And then my absolute number one favorite color right now, kind of running hand in hand alongside of Comet Dust, which is on my wall, is City Loft. Beautiful. I suggest it to clients all the time. They use it, they love it, it works well. Will it 100% work in your space? I don't know, because the lighting is different everywhere, but I would 100% put that in your toolbox and have that be a go-to for a natural backdrop, because it is absolutely beautiful. If it looks too light, then go with one of the darker ones that I mentioned, that Sherwin-Williams has suggested. You could try something a little darker. Now, let me suggest something to stay away from. So, if you have a fan deck, it's like 262 over to 268. Let me show you these. These, and again, it's really hard to see in the picture. These have lots of yellow. Okay, so if you're looking at a paint, you can look up the undertones of the paint, and if it's got a yellow undertone, I would just stay away from that, because I feel like, if my memory serves me correctly, the yellow beige was what was popular before the gray came in, right? And so anytime you see a yellow beige color, you're like, man, that really is outdated, right? Because that was before gray paint came in. But now you've got gray trending out. So if you use one of these like yellow, beigey colors, then it's going to seem really outdated, right? Because now you've had gray, and then you had yellow, and now it's not time for the yellow again yet. I'm sure it will trend back in at some point. So I would stay away from the ones with the yellow tones. The colors that I like, that I suggested, the 255s through the 260s, those are natural colors. They are beige, but they do have a little teeny hint of gray in them. Not blue gray though, and that's why I love them, because it's not such a move in the complete other direction. You still get some gray in there, but nobody's ever going to say, oh, that's gray paint. They're just going to be like, oh my gosh, that's a lovely color. And that, in my mind, is what you want. You don't need somebody calling out the color on the wall. You just need them to know that it's beautiful, right? And then the earlier colors that I mentioned, those are really traditional beige colors. And those are getting a little teeny tiny bit into the browns, okay? And brown is totally coming back. So don't shy away from using brown. I wouldn't use brown paint, but brown accessories, brown's coming back. So I hope that has helped you. I absolutely love talking about color, and the reason that I love talking about color is the backdrop to your entire design. So if your color on your walls is wrong, then nothing else is going to feel right. So you've got to get that right. So take your time and figure out what are the colors that you want to use on your backdrop, and follow the steps that I teach as far as getting the right color on your walls, because every wall is different, because every house is different, every lighting is different, and all of that. Does your color matter? Absolutely. Is gray trending down? Yes, it is. Is beige coming in? Absolutely. So I hope I have helped you, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel for more design tips, and I will see you next time.